What's up, Snow Cone Virgin Gang? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. First, before I get started, want to actually show this. This was actually something that was sent to me. Check this out right here. Look, I have my own full art trainer card right here. YouTube reporter. This was commissioned by Old Pokemon Collector on Instagram. I'll put their stuff up here. And then this was also done by the talented The Shining Oddish, also on Instagram. I don't know if they have other content plugs. I'm sure if you go check them out, they'll let you know. But man, this is sick. This is really fucking cool. I appreciate the hell out of it. And I mean, I guess at this point, like, I have my own trainer card. Speaking of trainer cards, let's get into today's Real Talk.
Real Talk.
So I'm sure some of you have seen the video that my good buddy OK Jayla put up just today. He put up something about Japanese full art trainers and the insane markups and prices that they've been accumulating. So I want to talk about this because I'm basically the #1 Japanese full art trainer collector. Not really, but I do have almost all of them. I have collected them for a very long time, for the last 3, 4, 5 years. I've been gathering them up, made the transition from English to Japanese. So I understand that market and the Japanese side of full art trainers very well. This video is good. It dove into a lot of stuff and it talked about very specific instances of cards being just shafted all the way up. Cards just going from basically like $100 to $500, and in some cases cards that were like, you know, already premium, like Licia. She was like sitting pretty fat for a little bit, almost $1,000 for a while, and then all of a sudden she's basically like a $2.5, $3 card overnight in the Japanese market, accumulating like 400,000 yen being what stores will pay for it. Now, this was a good, interesting topic. This is something that J-Love brought up, and I mean, as someone who keeps up with this stuff as well, I was interested. I was hooked. There's a couple things I kind of wanted to add to it, though, where it comes to that stuff. So a lot of things in that video kind of make it seem like this is spontaneous, this is crazy, and I will say the level, the volatility of how much these cards are going up from fucking value, like, don't get me wrong, cards being $3 grand, $2 grand, $1.5 grand that were previously like $500, $400, $300, $200, right? That's insane. That's something that just doesn't happen on the English side of the market very much. But I will say this, I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised at all. This has been something that's been going on since 2021. This is something that's been kind of the boom, and I've kind of warned people about this for a little bit, and I told people whenever this started happening, whenever Twice Baked Jake made his video talking about how much all of a sudden he just fucking loved full art trainers. He just wanted to jerk off on all the pages and just watch the value increase as he did that, right? I told people, I warned people on Instagram, and I know on YouTube I wasn't making content, but anybody that followed me there, I made content warning people saying, hey, if you want some cards, you better start grabbing them, because this is not something that's going to get any better before it gets worse, and it's going to get worse. Like, these prices over here is not where it ends. The Japanese market has us by the balls, basically, and by us I mean the Japanese market and the English market that is now capitalizing on people wanting to sell full art trainers. Have you noticed on maybe some social media platforms or Facebook markets or anything, have you noticed people are kind of trying to buy slabs or high value cards or Japanese trainers or alternate arts from Japan that they weren't really trying to get before? Yeah, it's because there's a market going on right now. The yen is actually down, so it's like 67 cents for $1 US, so about 100 yen is worth about 67 cents if you want to put it that way. The yen is down, so people are capitalizing on Japanese cards right this second that are premium or vintage or anything that's going to be worth a lot of money. And they're going to be moving with that here soon in the future. Like, a lot of people are trying to take advantage of that and set up card stores. This is not something new. People have done this. This is something that happened in 2021. I watched cards go from like 40, 50 bucks to $400 almost overnight. Like, don't believe me? Here's some cards right here that I bought, like Hex Maniac, Karen. I bought a Cynthia card, and these were like double-digit cards. And even at the time, I bought these a while back. It was like 2019 or something. I was like, damn, some of these are kind of expensive, or it was somewhere in that time. And I was like, god damn, these are expensive. But overnight, like literally in some point in 2021, the hype beast, the market, the people that saw these and saw untapped potential made stuff about this. And this is not new. This has been writing on the wall for a year and a half, and I've been telling people they need to invest in these cards or buy into these cards or get these cards that they want if they want to have them, because you might not be able to get them again. In my case, I have a lot of these cards. You can kind of see some of them behind me. I have almost every full art trainer in Japanese, and I'm pretty happy about that. They're cards that I'm not really too worried about if their binder value goes crazy. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I have some of them graded, but it would just so happen to be because I got a good deal on them. I'm not too worried about the resale for them, but if you notice some people are actively trying to move them, you can just safely guess that they spend a good chunk of money on that stuff. You know why I don't really care to move them? A, I like the cards, and B, as I showed you, I did not buy Sightseer for fucking $1,000. I bought her for $34. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to do that stuff or get my money back. You're gonna watch a lot of people do this, and it's not gonna get better before it gets worse. This is not new. This is not crazy. This is not something that just kind of happened out of nowhere like some people are trying to say. I mean, fucking PTCG Radio did a video on this shit, and he's acting like this is new. I've watched that dude for years. I like him. I like Ross. I like that dude a lot. Him sitting there pretending that he doesn't know what's going on with Japanese cards, like doing this for videos. He's like, crazy difference in values. What's going on here? Glory is only $10 in English, but she's $300 in Japanese? Like, duh, dude, you've been covering Japanese cards for like years. That's why I watch you. You know this stuff. You keep up with markets. Like, you talking about prices is nothing new. And I'm just wondering what the whole deal is with people kind of pretending that this is like a new thing. Okay, J-Love didn't do that. He's very well aware this has been something that's a trend on the rise, and he's more talking about the surprise of how volatile these cards have gotten and the potential raises that can continue to happen for that. So I'm not really throwing shade at him or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to add to it. Like, Japanese cards have just always been the best way to collect, in my personal opinion, but they have not always been the most expensive way to do it. In fact, at points, and people who followed me back in 2019 or 18 on Instagram, you can watch, I collected Japanese cards because they were cheap. I used to have to justify why I collected Japanese full art trainers or the alternate arts or collected Japanese sets in the first place, because people were like, oh, well, what do you do with them? You can't even read them. They're not really worth that much. Like, people remember back in the day. And I mean, like I said, I've got receipts of where I've got these high value cards for like 20, 30 bucks. And people are like, nah, there's no way, man. Like waifus and exclusive cards. And no, dude, it happened. It used to be cheaper. It used to be the way to go. I don't know what else to tell you. In 2021, I went on this huge tirade about like, hey, if you were a true collector and you want to get some of these cards and you want to buy these, you need to get them. And back here, I wasn't buying Eevee's Heroes and Blue Sky Stream for overpriced hike-ups like some of the content creators were doing. I said, fuck it. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to buy some cards that if I don't get them now, there stands a chance I'll never get them. And that's what I did. That's why I have some of the cards that I have. That's why people think like me talking about this stuff. I'm like, I'm not selling any of my cards, by the way. I'm not pumping any of this stuff. I'm not moving a damn card. I like my trainers. I like my Japanese alt arts. I like them. I'm keeping them. I think they look good. They give me happiness in my otherwise shitty and sad life that people think that I have. They give me something that I like. I like to collect them. I'm going to be hunting the full art trainers in Paradigm Trigger as well. They're always the cards whenever I'm opening sets. I always want them. When I open Lost Abyss. When I opened Lost Abyss in Japanese and I pulled Lady, over the moon. I was super happy about it. I pulled Colress. I was just as happy about that. I love the trainers. I love the waifus. I love the gaifus. I love all that. And they go into my binder. I'm not too worried about what people are saying. Like, it sucks for new people. I'll say that. It sucks for the new mofos that are coming in here and they can't get Japanese cards when they are very clearly interested in them. And I do think that this is just something that unfortunately hurts people that are truly just trying to collect cards to collect them. There's nothing wrong with selling cards or making money. That was never an issue. And back in the day in 2018, 19, people were doing it all the time. It was never a fucking issue. No one really had a problem talking about prices. But when the most expensive cards and sets were $70, like, I mean, Tagbull, go watch Max Mofo videos. Go watch his old openings. And watch how crazy it was when he pulled the most expensive cards from sets. A, they were playable trainers like Cynthia or Erica's Hospitality. But just look at the projected prices that they were at. So much lower. So much more accessible to people. And you stood a good shot at pulling something that was A, had a decent bit of value to it, but B, if you didn't, you could go to eBay and you can buy that stuff. And that's just unfortunately a world that we don't live in anymore, where Pokemon cards are going to be like that. I do think there's a chance they'll go back down in price. I don't think this is forever, but I do also think they're going to go up and up and up a little bit more before they actually come back down. Eventually, people are going to get priced out. They're not going to be able to do it. And when the cards can't circulate and people can't move them, the prices have nothing better to do but go down so people can actually sell the cards. Because a lot of people trying to sell them don't want the card. They just want that money. And I don't know. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know how you feel about Japanese cards. Are you a collector? Are you someone who's gotten into that stuff? Do you remember back in the day when they used to be cheaper? Do you remember before the twice baked Jakes and Pokey and E's came in here and just basically hyped up Japanese product to astronomical ratings. Do you guys remember that? Because I certainly do. I'd love to hear what you have to say about it in the comments below. This has been a real talk about the Japanese market. This is just something that doesn't surprise me. And the cards no one ever talks about is Lily. And that's how I kind of knew that shit was going to get crazy. When I saw Lily go from like a $500 card, this one right here, the Battle Boost, you guys probably know it from Ultra Prism, and it went all the way up to like $4 grand. Like, no joke. Back in 2020, it went to like $4 grand. I saw that and I was like, holy shit, Japanese full art trainers are going to be unobtainable, and if I don't get some of them now while I can, I'm going to lose my chance forever. So I grabbed a bunch of them, filled up my binder. I like them. I'm not pumping them. I'm not trying to sell them. Feel free to do what you want with your money. Buy whatever the hell you want. I just kind of wanted to put some insight on that. This isn't new. This isn't something that just kind of popped up out of nowhere. This is very much a thing that's been tracked, and it's repeatable, and people are going to basically ride this gravy train while they can. You're going to watch a lot of English people buy Japanese cards that they previously didn't want to. That's all I got. Thank you for coming to this real talk, and I appreciate it. See you later, virgins.